Immortalmisfit of YouTube. We're back with another Lanterns video. Yeah, this show has one more chance to razzle dazzle me. Does it stick the landing, or will I just stop watching after episode 2 and never actually finish this show? You will find out in this review. So the episode pretty much starts off the following day after the end of the first episode, where the alien blew himself up. John is asleep and dumps water on, and Hal dumps water on him to get him up. Which yeah, Hal is just a giant dick for no reason. In the guise of training, Hal calls John uptight after this, obviously, even though John has every right to be angry about the way he was woken up. Hal tries to teach John to fly in this episode. He just says, think about it. Think about flying and flying. Obviously, John doesn't fly. Instead, he creates a fly, and that pretty much a bird, and that pretty much follows John around during the whole episode. Before I forget, Hal literally asks John what's about the bird, what's with the bird in the episode, and John doesn't tell him. Okay. Hal still hasn't charged his ring, mind you. John even points that out, that him not charging his ring is pretty damn stupid. And yeah, I agree, especially with what happens later on in the episode. Hal sends John to his house to get his lantern, which still isn't with him either, which is stupid. Later we find out that it's in a pocket dimension he keeps it in, which I thought he could just summon the lantern at will, but hey, it is what it is. Okay. Hal is still a dick, obviously, like I said before. Hal goes back to the football field to investigate. He flies to scope things out and find something. Apparently the town is holding a town hall meeting. He goes back to the field where the murders happened and investigate it. He also flies without the green aura. I thought the green aura was a given and that you actually needed the green aura to fly, but I guess not. Hal Ring gives him a warning that it needs to be charged, and he falls to the ground. Nothing happens to him. He doesn't get hurt, but I still think it's really odd that he knows that the ring loses power and that it's going to happen when he flies, and he still flies without the powering battery, I should say. They talk about whether or not to cancel the football game, which I think is a smart idea. Too bad they don't do that. Sheriff bitch is still a bitch, by the way. She chews out Hal. I really don't like the sheriff for wanting time to talk with her. So she asks Hal to leave before this. That's what leads to that whole thing. John calls Hal to say he couldn't find the ring to get into Hal's house. Couldn't find the keys to get into Hal's house, which Hal hides under a rock. He finds Green Lantern's lantern, mind you, in his house, in a pocket dimension, aforementioned pocket dimension where he keeps it. We see inside Hal's closet and John finds his suit. Hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right. I thought that his suit was a ring construct and not an actual suit. Apparently someone on Twitter pretty much says that it was an actual suit at one point earlier in the comics. I didn't know that, so I guess Twitter does help out and does actually teach you things.
And I always enjoy watching him perform.
Okay, let's see.
Big win here, guys. That was simply a case of one
How
guy determined to prove his dominance over another.
Hal shits on the suit some more in the episode too.
About next year's.
So anyway, John finally gets Hal's power battery, so he can power up his ring. Okay, sorry. John gets tased and incapacitated. He wakes up in a car and gets into a fight in said car. I actually like that scene. It was a pretty good fight scene. It's obviously an alien that does that. Obviously aliens that kidnap him, because one of them just, when in the fight scene, one of them just picks up John. I keep making a mistake. I'll leave this in. But anyway, John picks him up with one hand. The alien picks up John inside of the moving van, by the way. Not a car, a van. Up, hits him through the ceiling, and then back down into the ground. That fight scene was actually pretty cool. We get a chase scene where John is immediately knocked out, by the way. Hal goes to the morgue and steals some bodies that he knows is alien, by the way. The sheriff, he gets caught by the sheriff, who bitches him out. The sheriff really doesn't want John to, like, Hal to do his job, like, at all, by the way. She tells him he went through an alien detector and that she knows that they're aliens, which she probably could have told them this before. It would have alleviated some of the issues they're having. One question: why does she continue being a bitch, as I wrote down in my notes, instead of giving Hal the information so he can actually help with what's going on? She's hindering Hal even more in this episode. He's going to the sheriff's father-in-law's house. I'm not going to remember her name because she's honestly such an unlikable character that I tend to not remember the unlikable characters' names. But anyway, she goes to the sheriff's father-in-law house. She says that Hal wants to go to the sheriff's father-in-law's house. She said that's a bad idea, and I actually agree with the sheriff here. That is a pretty dumb idea. She takes him, but she says she'll ask the questions. We see her father-in-law, who hates aliens, at his compound. He talks about a benefactor. We never know who the benefactor is because they're leaving breadcrumbs for that, I guess. The sheriff's asshole father-in-law calls his men to get Hal out of his property. The aforementioned father-in-law's property. Hal pulls up his ring and says he's a lantern and that he needs to, and then they just shoot him. He doesn't die, obviously.
Will she win it here? And she kicks out with relative ease. Way too early.
We see John tied to a chair getting interrogated after he's knocked out. After he wakes up from getting knocked out. We find out that the manhunters are coming from this scene, and that John is injected with something that gives him the memories of how many people the manhunters attack. We don't get to see this, obviously. They give him vision. It gives him visions. We don't get to see this, obviously. Okay.
This could be the turning point.
Manhunters killed in the past. Yeah, they feed us more information about the manhunters. We find out that the aliens that were killed were trying to find the manhunters. The manhunters in the episode finds out that we find out that the manhunters can take human forms. I don't know if this was ever a thing in the comics, but here we are. They can take human forms now.
Another peek at some of the more memorable parts of the match.
From what I'm remembering, they do, but it's very mixed up, my memories.
She's taking care of business. And last but not least, there was
okay, yeah, what else? The alien says they were going to detonate more bomb people in Rushville, but he doesn't want to do that and kill innocent people.
Not with action like we just saw.
Which doesn't make sense because one of their people detonates himself and almost kills innocent people in the previous episode. That doesn't make sense, like, at all, at least to me. The alien leader that kidnaps John might be bullshitting or lying, but we don't know that yet. We see Hal in the hospital because he was shot earlier by asshole. I'm not going to remember all these characters' names, so I'm just going to give them nicknames. We found out he was handcuffed after he was shot for trespassing, which he was doing trying to investigate the killings and alien shootings that a Green Lantern is supposed to do because they're alien peacekeepers. They're lanterns are peacekeepers, but hey, it is what it is. The sheriff obviously doesn't want him to do his job and stop the aliens, which is stupid as hell, mind you. The sheriff is still unlikable. She wants him to follow her lead, while Hal, I don't understand this because Hal is a lantern whose purpose is to stop alien threats. Why would he follow her lead when she hasn't fought against aliens, or as far as we've known, seen any aliens? Hal apologizes for some reason after the sheriff says she finally gets respect from the town after years of trying, which I get that, but Hal is the Green Lantern. He's supposed to stop alien threats. Once again, she's hindering him from doing his job, and we're supposed to feel sorry for her, by the way.
She won't be for long. Speaking of that classic
the sheriff proves how selfish she is by saying she's not on his side or the town side, she's on her side. I do like the conversation with Hal and the sheriff afterwards, even though she could have given him all the information early instead of what she does and not does that. She doesn't want her father-in-law suspicious about an alien invasion, and she knows people who died were aliens, so yep, she leaves out important information. He still thinks something is up. We found out that the sheriff is from Gotham, which would explain a lot about her attitude problems and how she acts. Hal notices the hospital is surprisingly clean, but doesn't say that to the sheriff until a bit later. And the sheriff just brushes him off by giving him some excuse. John comes back with Hal's lantern suit, with Hal's lantern battery and Hal's suit. John tells him what we already know, that he's disrespecting the lantern suit, which Hal really is. Hal finally charges the ring, thank God, even though the battery should really be with him at all times, but we're not going to do that. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this earlier. We found out Hal doesn't want to talk about Sinestro. There's some obvious baggage there. If you don't read the comics or haven't watched the shows or movies, you won't know this, by the way, until the show tells you. But Sinestro was pretty much this episode tells you, by the way, Sinestro is pretty much a corrupt lantern who killed one of the Lantern's leaders and tried to take over the Green Lanterns with the yellow lantern ring. Okay, let's see. John asks about the Manhunters, and Hal looks disturbed, and John tells Hal about him being kidnapped. The kidnappers are Wayland's people. I guess the alien that detonated himself. They tell them John pretty much tell Hal that there's a manhunter around.
Oh my goodness.
Through some clunky dialogue, we found out that Hal is special when the aforementioned bird he constructs is pretty much something that no other lantern can do without the power ring and keep it up without the power ring. They think the Guardians know there's a manhunter on Earth, by the way. Hal doesn't believe this. Hal finally puts on his suit and flies to Oa to see Sinestro in prison and asks about the Manters. He pretty much says that the Manhunters are a threat to Earth and that's the end of the episode.
I don't think I've ever seen her.
Wow, okay, where do I begin?
She's rolling now.
Okay, all in all, I did enjoy the episode. The episode was a lot better than the last one. It obviously has some issues. I still don't like the sheriff. The sheriff in this show might be one of the worst incompetent characters I've ever seen in fiction. They try to make her a tough girl boss, as I said before. God, I fucking hate that word. But they just have her acting like a complete asshole who pretty much hates everyone. In this instance, she pretty much hates John. But yeah, this was the best episode, which isn't saying much. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I might continue with this show. I won't know if there's not a new part next Sunday, then you know why. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think of the gameplay and that good shit. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Whatever time of day it is for y'all, I'm out. Peace.